What's up, everybody? So, I'm here today because I wanted to ask you a question. All right. So, have you ever been to the point where you wanted to take, new action? You wanted to reach a new result. You wanted to move towards your big vision or your big goal in life, but you find that you keep getting stuck, just not taking the action. Or if you're taking the action, you're not really putting in 100%. You're kind of going 50-50, and you're not really achieving the results that you want. So if you've ever been there before, I'm going to cover a training today on really how to kill those fears, that self-doubt, those limiting beliefs, and start taking action towards your vision today. So who am I? My name is Naftali Anderson, and I'm a John Maxwell team coach, intelligent leadership, executive coach. And really, at the end of the day, what I do is I help people find clarity, through authenticity. Um, I also help people just take action, dedicated, intentional action towards their goals, help them to break down those barriers. And then I also help them increase their influence so they can be better leaders and create more of an impact to the people around them, whether it be on teams, at work, professionally, or honestly, their relationships that are just in their life. And so we're going to jump right into the training. I'm going to share my screen with you so you can follow right along. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to move this out the way. All right, so how to kill self-doubt and fear and take action towards your vision. And this PDF is going to be available to you guys. I will email it to you. And so that you can fill out the exercises at the end of this. Okay, so the top 3 things that hinder us from taking action. Okay, the first thing is no urgency. Really, it's not a priority to you. Not a strong enough why. There's no big purpose of why you need to take this action. Some people get stuck in, they feel like they should take this action, that they may want to take this action because it's a good idea, but it's not really that important to them. And so there's not going to be a lot of urgency to really, fight against, being content, really. And that leads on to the content with the current situation. And so we get very comfortable, and we are definitely creatures of habit. And sometimes even when we do want to change our situation, we still end up sometimes just comfortable where we are. There's no real pain that we're trying to escape. It's just that change could be an improvement in our lives, but we're not really running away from a big pain. And so that creates a lack of urgency a lot. Okay, sometimes there's just a lack of clarity. Okay, and you're not sure what action to take. You may have an idea, a very broad idea of what you want your life to look like. You may have a broad idea of where you want to go for your big goal and your promotion, your business, but you don't really truly know what that looks like. Okay, and when your vision is unsure, when your vision is blurry, it's hard to really think about it, really pinpoint what the next action step will be. You may have 5 things that, you could pick from, but you're not sure which one is going to get you moving towards, your dream vision. All right. And the biggest thing is usually fear. And fear is really one and the same with doubt. Okay. Self-doubt in particularly. Okay. We get into the fear of failure, which a lot of times there's a doubt there that says, I'm not enough. Okay. There's that level of acceptance that we all look for. And sometimes that fear of failure is attached to us no longer being accepted if we fail. Okay, fear of success. And sometimes that can be tied in with the fear of change. If you, we'll say in this job, if you become a manager, okay, now all your buddies, all your friends, you're managing all your friends. And now that creates a change, and that creates a switch in the relationship. Some people are afraid of that because they don't know how to handle it, or rather they're afraid that their friends, their colleagues are not going to know how to handle this change. And so they'd rather avoid it than really take that next step and evolve those relationships. Okay, there's a fear of judgment. All right, sometimes we avoid going after big dreams, going after big visions because everybody around us says, hey, no, like, that's enough. That's cool. Just stay where you are. Or why do you want to do that? Do you think you're better than us? Or other things like that. And then there's other things like, too old, too young, too whatever. Okay, so right now we're going to focus on the fear. Okay, we're going to focus on the self-doubt and the fear and that aspect of that. And so what is fear? All right. The most popular thing that we hear about fear is, false evidence appearing real. Okay, and I agree with that statement. Fear is definitely false in many aspects of it. It does have some, it does get tied into reality, and we'll talk about that. But either way, let's go a little deeper in this. All right, so fear is a belief of some kind, okay? That fear is a belief that there is a future pain if we take a certain action, okay? Or sometimes if we don't take a certain action. But most of every fear really comes from the self-doubt or some belief of you not being adequate enough, or myself not being adequate enough to handle the situation when things get difficult. And what that means to be accepted, so it shows up as fear, is to protect us. So with that being said, it's our fears, we accept them because they're there to protect us. Okay? And which is good, but at the same time, those fears usually cause the thing that we're trying to protect ourselves from. Okay, if we're in a relationship and we're afraid that somebody's going to leave, we usually end up doing things that cause that person to leave because that's what we're focusing on. If we're scared that we're going to fall, we usually end up falling. Okay, so that fear is not necessarily protecting us, even though that's why it's there, but it sometimes can work backwards on us. So, and usually those fears are planted from an experience that we had, or maybe saw somebody else have, or somebody said to us, or we overheard in some way. Okay, and really, if you believe that you could be successful, in anything, if you believe that you can never fail, if you believe that you could win in every challenge that was put in front of you, would you hesitate to take on the challenge? Would you hesitate to change? Would you hesitate to take action? You wouldn't. I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. If I thought I could win on every single thing that I tried, why would I ever hesitate? I already know what the outcome would be. There's nothing to be afraid of because I could handle it. I could do it, and I'm going to win. And so that's where we need to address. That's where we need to attack right now. So why is it so easy, okay, for us to stay in that comfort zone? So beliefs, they control our thoughts, okay? And our thoughts, they control our emotions control our actions give us our results, and our results strengthen our beliefs, okay? And this is a good, and sometimes it's a bad thing. This is why we stay in a comfort zone. We stay what we know, because we set certain beliefs, like, for example, if I'm taking a test, okay, if I'm taking a math test and I tell myself, my belief is that I'm no good at math, all right? So I'm going to have thoughts when this test comes that I'm going to fail the test. My emotions, they are going to be anxious, right? And so I'm going to take this test. I'm going to blank out. My mind's going to freeze up. And then what's my result? My result is that I'm going to fail the test. And so I'm going to look at that test result. I'm going to say, see, there it goes. It's proof right there. It's proof of my belief that I am no good at math. And I'm going to keep circling around that cycle right there. So it keeps us stuck in the same beliefs, because honestly, our beliefs will go, and just like it created fear and anxiety in me, so that I blanked out on my test, even though I may have studied, okay, but I wasn't relaxed because of that belief that I had. All right, so that belief caused me to have emotions and to have thoughts that made my actions get me the result that strengthened my belief. So my beliefs actually try to strengthen themselves by affecting how you feel and affecting what you do, so it can protect its own belief, which I know sounds kind of crazy, and I hope I didn't lose you guys on that, but this is a good example. All All right, so if you were walking on a beam, right? So this board, say it was 2 feet wide, and you're walking on the board, and it was on the ground, and somebody told you to walk 10 feet across this board. You would walk on it with confidence. You wouldn't be worried about it. You would walk steady. You wouldn't fall over. You wouldn't wobble. Most likely you'd be steady, calm, and relaxed, and just confident, right? So what if we took that same beam and then we put it up 100 feet? What happens then? Okay, that strong, sturdy body that you just had a few minutes ago on the same exact beam, all right, is now wobbly. It's now like you're unsure of yourself. You're flinging your arms around trying to catch your balance, and there's a likely that you're gonna fall. Okay, but what changed? Okay, what changed? What changed is that, all right, your beliefs about the situation changed. Okay, your beliefs about the situation changed. So you had different thoughts. Your thoughts were not just, I'm walking across a board and I know how to walk. It's 2 feet wide. I can handle that. Okay. Your thoughts were now, what if I fall? Like, what if the wind blows? What if I hurt myself? What if I can't do this? What if I don't make it? 10 feet is a long way. Like, which changes your emotions, right? And so now your emotions are anxious. Now your emotions, you're very nervous. You're not sure what to do. You can't think straight. You don't know how to react to this situation. And so this fear stops you. Okay, you hit that wall of fear because of those thoughts and emotions. Okay, because we didn't control them. And so we end up taking actions that give us the old results. So typically on this high beam, we're going to fall off, right? And then it goes to that result. And so that result goes back to belief. It says, see, I can't walk across a beam that's 100 feet high. I can't do that. I just showed you I couldn't do that. Now, physically, are you able to do that? Yes. Physically, are you able to balance yourself across on this beam that's 2 feet, okay, wide? Yes, you proved that. You proved that on the floor. But yet 100 feet high, 100 feet off the ground, now you no longer have that same belief about that board, about your ability to walk across this. Okay, so your beliefs made you react, made your body tense up. It created anxiety in you. It created nervousness in you. It used images because you saw yourself falling. It used questions like, what if I fall? What if I can't do this? What if, to pull you back, okay, from a new action of walking across that board and just being confident and doing it comfortably, okay, and put you back to an action that's going to support the old belief. Okay, it wanted to get the result that supported the old belief that said you can't do something like that. All right, and you know, like I said, what changed? What was going on in your mind at the time? All the questions of what if. And you know, one example from my personal life is back when I was in high school. I used to run track, and I ran the 400 meter, and I ended up being pretty good at it. I qualified for states 3 times in a row, and I remember particularly my first year qualifying for states. And you know, I did extremely well. And I remember I made it to the fastest heat in states, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous because I had some belief in there that I didn't belong there, that I couldn't perform with high achievers, that, you know, even though I looked at all the times that people had their best times for the season, and I was one of the top ranked, so physically I could do it. I had the body for it. I had the training for it. I've done it before, but yet my belief wasn't there. Okay, I filled myself up with fear. What if I look dumb? What if I just can't do this? What if they're all like so much faster than me? What if that's just the time they qualify for, but then they can run like 2 or 3 seconds faster by now, even though the season's like 2 months? Okay. all these things showed up in my belief, and I ran my worst time of the season. I still didn't even get in last place, but I ran my worst time of the season, not because I wasn't physically able to, not because my capabilities weren't there. It was because my beliefs strengthened, well, my beliefs caused my thoughts to focus on certain things, which caused an emotional reaction in me. Okay, and so that made me react. My actions, okay, my actions caused my body to be tense. I ran slow, and so my result strengthened my belief that I came in with, that I didn't belong here. I can't run with these guys, which wasn't even true. Okay, do you have anything in your life like this that you can relate to? So let's take a deeper look, right, in this wall of fear, okay, that we really end up hitting, okay, because we know that the fear is strengthened through the questions that our mind asks us, okay, and make sure you guys can see that well. Um, One thing that I like to use, right, to break down this wall of fear, okay, is use the same thing that builds the fear. Use questions. Now, a woman named Byron Katie, I left a note in there just in case you ever want to look it up. It's her process is a very good process, very simple process, but it's very efficient, and honestly helped me to see how in certain situations I was always confident and nonchalant and never let the surrounding things bother me, versus other situations where it was high anxiety, lots of nervousness, fear, and what was the difference? And so learning her process called the work, that's helped me to figure out exactly what that looks like and how to help you to be able to achieve different results. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, we're going to do an exercise, really. And this exercise, I want you to actually start thinking about your big vision and what actions that you haven't been taking consistently, or you haven't taken at all, right? And when you think about taking those actions, when you think about your vision, what are the fears that pop into your mind, right? If there's five, then write down all five. If there's not as many, then that's okay too. But something just like the fear of failing, the fear of success, the fear that someone's going to judge you, the fear, whatever fear, what does this look like to you? What are you feeling when you think about taking that action? Um, what pops into your mind? Take a minute to write these things down. Okay, and then I want you to start thinking about, why is that a fear? Okay, so if I go and think about again the fear of failure, right? For me, the fear of failure was big in my life, and there's still sometimes that it pops up, and I have to deal with it. And this is kind of how I deal with it. And so you look at that and you say the fear of failure. All right, so why is that a fear? Why is it a fear? It's because the fear is there because I think if I fail, then that means that I'm worthless. It means that I'm not smart. It means that I wasn't good enough. It means that um, I'm not great, or I'm not meant for greatness, or something like that. Okay? These are the things, these are honestly things for me that I used to think. These are honestly things that still pop up every once in a while. Okay? But I don't let them control me anymore because I know how to deal with them. Okay? And that's the whole point of this whole thing. It's really not that none of these things are going to pop up ever again once you deal with it once. It's You can take the power away from it once you know how to deal with it. Okay? And so write these things down. Okay, what would happen if it came to fruition? All right, so the fear of success, we talked about, fear of change, and if I become a manager and my colleagues are not the manager, and what would happen if this actually truly happened? Would they not respect me anymore? Would they think that I feel that I'm better than them? And you know, what does that mean to me? Really understanding what does that mean to me. Okay? And if I think that they're going to think that I'm better than them or something like that, I have to ask myself, you know, is that 100% true? Like 100% full fact. There is no other way it could turn out. Okay, that it is 100% true. All right, if I fail and I think that it's going to say that I'm worthless, is that absolutely 100% without a doubt factual true? No, it's not true. It's just a feeling that I might feel. Okay, it's just a lie I might tell myself, but it's not the truth. Okay, that all my friends might judge me. Is that true? No. Will some? Possibly. But again, it's possibly. Okay, but it's not 100% true. All right, and if not, what else could be true? Well, let's go back to the fear of failure. Okay, if I tried and I failed, what else could be true? It could be true that I learned something. It could be true that I got pretty close to succeeding, and now I can use what I learned and I can try again, and I may succeed next time. It could be true that I may inspire somebody else to try. It could be true that I'm going to actually gain more confidence just knowing that I tried and I had the gall, the confidence enough to just go out there and put myself out there and try. Okay? What else could be true? All right, if besides that fear, on the flip side of it, if things work out, what could be true? Right? Now, what's the best thing that could happen if you take action today? Okay? So, I want you to take the time. I don't want you to go through these. Pause this video if you have to, or just come back to it after. But the whole point of this is that it's easier, okay, to get through that wall of fear when the layers are weaker. Okay, when we start questioning some of those fears and really checking if they're valid or not, okay, that false evidence appearing real, and we take away that validation of that fear and we realize that it's not real, then it's not as powerful. When we start questioning those things that we believe about the results or what a failure means or what change means or what success means, then we can take away some of the power of that belief that's holding us back. And then once we take that power away, we have the opportunity to start reshaping them. And that's why we think about what's the best thing that can happen. Okay? Because we have the opportunity now that we've taken some of the power away from it to reshape it into something that's going to be more powerful for us. Okay? And so when these layers are weak, then it's easier to actually take action. It's easier to push through. And then when we change our action, because now we have our emotions in check, then we can get different results. Okay? And those new results can strengthen our new belief, okay, that we just started. All right? And so that's why these things become powerful. Just taking that time to slow down and ask yourself these questions. Okay? Know what you want. Know what you want it to look like. That becomes a powerful tool for you. Okay? And a big part of that is just raising your self-awareness. Okay? And some of the extra things that you can do to break through that wall also is really reframe the emotions that you're feeling. So excitement and anxiety feel the same. And if you actually watch some of the people like Michael Phelps or Michael Jordan or Michael anything seems to be, but if you watch some of the greats, okay, and you actually listen to them talk, they talk about a excitement before a big game. Speakers will talk about an excitement before speaking. Okay? And most people, they take that feeling, that butterflies in the stomach feeling, and they frame it as anxiety. Okay? And it doesn't have to be anxiety. It actually can be whatever we frame it as. Whatever we want to put in this box. Okay? that feeling's there, but we can call it whatever we want to call it. All right. And so they choose to call it excitement. And they see that excitement, that their heart beating fast, right? That nervousness in the stomach. They say that is the thing that shows them that they're ready for whatever they're about to do. Okay, their senses are heightened, their mind is more focused. Okay, that's how they see it, that they're ready to execute because of that feeling, when that feeling comes, right? And the rest of us, we take that feeling as, this means that I'm not ready. This means that I'm not prepared. This means that I'm not supposed to be here. This means that I should be feeling just so calm, cool, and collected. And if I'm not feeling that way, then something's wrong. It's not anything's wrong. It's that it's important to you. Okay, is that you want to perform at a high level. So that's your excitement that's going to help you perform at the level that you want to perform at. Okay, and so take that feeling, take that emotion, and reframe it to something that becomes powerful for you. Okay, the second thing is increase the power of your purpose. You know, taking action and increase the power of your purpose for taking action and reaching the result. All right, when there's power in your purpose, when it's something that's extremely powerful for you, when your emotions are connected to it and it's driving you, okay, that becomes something that will push past fears almost every time. Okay, because it no longer becomes an option that you can stop. Okay, it forces you to take that action because you have to get that new result. Right? So there's actually a tool that that we use in the workshop called 7 Levels Deep, and that tool, I got it from Dean Graziosi, which I mentor under him, but there is so much power in that, and it really helps you to connect from that purpose that's in your head and bring it down to your heart. All right, and I love when we use it in the workshop. And there's another one, the last thing, you want to increase the clarity for your vision, for what you want, and keep a picture of it in your mind. You know, when that fear came, okay, like when we talked about falling, okay, off the 100-foot high board, when that fear came, it fed you pictures. I'm sure when I was even talking about it, you may have pictured certain things, pictured yourself falling, or even pictured the building and this piece of wood that's 2 foot wide on that building. Okay, your mind, your spirit, your heart, it works in pictures most of the time. Usually when we have fears, we picture those things. And so when you have clarity on where you want to go, you have clarity on your vision, okay, you feed your mind, your spirit pictures. You feed it new pictures, success pictures. You feed it images of what you want to create, okay, and that actually creates more power for you to take those action, because you're start to imprint new beliefs in your mind to say this is our reality. Our mind doesn't really know whether we're truly experiencing living something fully or whether we're actually just imagining it. That's why we can, you know, remember something from the past and we still feel all the emotions of it, because our mind doesn't know and it reacts still the same way. Okay, we can think of something happening and our heart starts to beat. All right, it tells your body to react because there's something happening. It looks at the picture that you're creating, okay, and your body reacts. So you can start actually picturing those things more, and this is what I deem as faith. This is what I think how faith really works. Okay, you start to picture that the thing that you want, your end goal, your vision. You start to picture that and you start believing in it. And when you have more emotions attached to it, it becomes a stronger imprint. All right, your biggest memories are the things that came with the most emotion, because emotion is like a driver. Okay, it's a powerful force. And so the more emotion that you have in your visions that you want to move forward to, okay, the more that it will impact your beliefs. And we know if it impacts your beliefs, it impacts your thoughts. If it impacts your thoughts, it's going to impact your emotions, which impacts your actions. Then you get new results. Okay, and that's what it's about. That's what it's truly all about. I'm sorry I didn't show you this picture earlier, but that's what it's really all about. Okay, if you want an extra power to get through that wall, the purpose and clarity, that's really where you get that extra boost. Okay, but you have to deal with those beliefs. You have to deal with those fears. Okay, you have to start questioning them. You have to start bringing them up to your awareness and seeing them for what they really are. Because if you continue to hide them, if you continue to kind of try to sidestep them and just power through, it's going to get you every time. Okay, because you don't even know what you're tripping over. All right, so that's how you got to look at it sometimes. So those layers are there, but if you take some of those layers out, all right, it's much easier to take that action. It's much easier to get a new result. It's much easier to create the life that you really want. Okay, and this is the end of the training. I hope you enjoyed the training. As always, I love your feedback on it, and you can email me at naftalianderson.com, or you can find me on Facebook or Instagram and just search Naftali D. Anderson, no spaces, and you can contact me on there. But until then, I appreciate you and be blessed.